everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of Mr. Controversial, the show that brings a whole new meaning to the word opinion. This will be a weekly show that we hope to bring you all the way up until the new year anyway on a trial basis. This has been made possible by another vlog channel who have backed me on this. I won't name them out because they've asked not to be named in the show, but they know who they are, so a big thumbs up. Thank you guys so much for giving me the back and support to start this show. Like I said, up until New Year, it will be on a weekly basis, interim to see how it goes, and after that, we'll see what happens. But I want to thank as well anyone who has been reading my blogs from the start of the season up until this point. Without your support, the blogs can't happen. So thank you so much. You know who you are. For anyone who has been reading them, this is the new format that they'll be coming in vlog form now. So yeah, we have a plan, and all plans don't always work out, but hopefully this one does work out. We have got a few surprises. We have got a few celebrity names linked up for Skype interviews and Skype appearances, so we're hoping to make those happen before the new year as well and really make the show take off. But like I said, it will be a weekly show, and we'll be looking back on the Premier League action on a weekly basis, and we'll be looking for your opinion. We want to know what you think of your club's performances in the Barclays Premier League. We're going to try and keep each show about 10 to 12 minutes. We don't want to keep it too much longer, make it too much longer than that. For that reason, we might not be able to reach every club every week, but we're going to do our best and get as much of it into every show without making it too laborious and boring and long. So without further ado, we'll get started on this week's show. We'll start with Saturday's results, and I think one result stood out above any other on Saturday, and that was Stoke's 1-0 defeat of Chelsea. And despite the fact that Chelsea have been going really bad this season, and find themselves 3 points above the drop zone, this was still a shocker of a result. It's still quite hard to believe what has happened to the Premier League champions. I mean, last season everyone was talking about could they be beaten. They were being compared to Arsenal's Invincibles from 2004, and this season they just look a shadow of them for themselves. And you look back at the summer, not a lot of change happened. Everton instead relatively solid. I know that people say you can't stand still in the transfer market, you've got to improve, but it would have been very hard to look at that Chelsea team and find a lot of things that needed to be improved upon. He's brought in Radamel Falcao on loan. Regardless of the season he had at Manchester United last season, that would have been seen as a positive signing. And they brought in a new young left back for £20 million. So not a lot needed to be done, and what needed to be done was done relatively early and quick. And personally, I didn't look anywhere. I couldn't look past Chelsea for retaining the Premier League this year with Mourinho in charge, his third season in charge. But it's just been bewildering, and pundits and fans alike are finding it hard to put their finger on it. Of course, the big issue was the Eva Carneiro issue that clouded the opening day fixture against Swansea City at Stamford Bridge, and ever since that there has been a cloud of darkness around Mourinho, and whether he had just gone that step too far. He crossed the line that he hadn't crossed before when he criticised the club doctor and physio, and but form wasn't really on Chelsea's side coming into the season either. They hadn't won a game in 90 minutes in pre-season, and there was something just wasn't right. And I think a lot of unfair criticism has been thrown Jose Mourinho's way. A lot of people know my opinion. I don't rate Jose Mourinho as the pinnacle of managers. I don't rate him as a top class manager. He is a world class manager, but he's not in the bracket of the very high managers. I think he goes to a club and he gets what he can out of it and then moves on, and I think he's finding it hard to get any more out of this Chelsea team. He got everything out of them last season, but in his defence, I think that a lot of the players have stopped playing for him. They're not performing for him. The only player that's performed for Chelsea in any way, shape or form this season is Willian, and the rest have underperformed. And you can't always blame the manager for every result. The players have got to go out and do it on the day, and the Chelsea players just aren't doing it at the moment, and Mourinho is taking all the flack. I think the players are getting murdered, to be honest, because of Mourinho's off-field antics. But at the end of the day, a lot of the blame has to be placed at their doorstep. But again, they played well on Saturday. It wasn't their worst game of the season. They actually played quite well, and on any given season you can go to Stoke and lose 1-0, so in that respect the result wasn't a defining result in Chelsea's season. It was another blip, but it's a result that you could say could happen at any stage of any season for any team. So we won't throw too much abuse at Chelsea for that result. They did play quite well. Hazard looked somewhat back to his old best, but again, they're still only 3 points above the drop. There's no way they'll go down. They just have a mountain of a task on their hand now to make Champions League next season. As for Stoke, it was a fantastic performance. Played some lovely football. They had to hang out at times. They got a bit of luck along the way, which you need against the big teams, but it was a well-deserved 1-0 win, and they're starting to climb the table after what was a shaky start. So Mark Hughes, his signs are finally starting to settle. So things are looking well for Stoke, not so well for Chelsea. As for United, they had a few critics to answer as well, and none more so than the United fans who just haven't been happy with what they've seen from Louis van Gaal's team in the past few weeks, and that has been slow, boring, predictable football, and a lack of goals, a severe lack of goals. And I don't think it's really the lack of goals that has concerned United fans or agitated United fans as such. I think the biggest factor was shifting Anthony Martial from the number 9 position out to the left wing to cater for Wayne Rooney up front, despite the fact that Anthony Martial came in as a relatively unknown teenager in a £36 million move, and he won the Premier League Player of the Month in his first month in English football after a scintillating few matches, and where he scored 4 goals in his first 4 games. And it wasn't just that, it was the performances, the way he stretched teams, the way he ran at defences. He was really causing problems, and he was creating a lot of space for players like Juan Mata and Herrera, even Memphis Depay to a lesser extent. But shifting him out to the left has definitely slowed down United's attack. United fans are getting frustrated. Some of Van Gaal's decision making in matches, but I think United fans kind of forget themselves at times. They have been spoiled for a long time under Ferguson. I think the club is going through a bit of an identity crisis at the moment. Even when the club does win, like it did against Moscow last week and like it did against West Brom at the weekend, fans don't know whether to celebrate or be happy because they're not sure about the performance. Did the performance match that of the Man United way? And of course, Manchester United have always played with a traditional attacking style of football, but at the end of the day, the club has still trying to adjust itself, and the ship has still very much been steadied since the departure of Sir Alex Ferguson. You don't lose a manager of 27 years and have one blip of a season. There's a lot of rebuilding that has to be done at the club. Ferguson didn't just run the match day squad. He ran that club from top to bottom, and the whole club was rebuilt during his 27 years as a manager. And you don't lose managers like that and not feel the full effects of it. United are 2 points off the top of the Premier League, 6 clean sheets in their last 7 matches from a team that was defensively so porous last season. It's not too bad, and it's not to be sniffed at. I'm sure Chelsea fans would give a lot to be in the position Man United fans are in now, playing the style of football that we're playing. The football will come. I think that the key thing is results, is to stay up there. It will happen. You can see the team, they are getting better with every game, with every season. I think patience just needs to be required, and fans just need to get behind the team, because in the last few games you could definitely, tension was visible in the players on the pitch. When it was 75 minutes on the clock against CSKA Moscow, you could visibly see the players, as the fans are chanting attack, attack, attack. You could see that tension gets to the field, and you've got to get behind the players in a positive manner. I know it's not easy all the time, and probably fans of every club are guilty of it, but you've just got to stand by your team through good and bad. And United aren't in a bad place at the moment. They're certainly in a better place than they were at this stage 2 seasons ago, when they were out of the title race under David Moyes, and there was a lot more worse to come. So I think you just need to be patient. Van Gaal is certainly the right man at the right moment for Manchester United. Looking at Liverpool, we jump ahead to Sunday's match, and it didn't seem like a lot had changed since Brendan Rodgers was gone. A 2-1 home defeat to Crystal Palace, who were victorious at Anfield back in May. Liverpool's performances have certainly risen since Jurgen Klopp has taken over, but not a lot has changed defensively. Not a lot has changed tactically, I think on the pitch, there's nothing to suggest that he's changed a whole lot. The upsurge in performances seem to just come from the fact that the team is reacting to a new manager and they're trying to impress him. But look, it's early days. Jurgen Klopp is certainly one of the top young coaches in Europe. He's a fantastic appointment for Liverpool Football Club, and I'm sure in the long term it will prove to be a very, very good appointment. But I can't see Jurgen Klopp getting the same time that Brendan Rodgers got. There's going to have to be some serious results at that club in the next couple of years. Some sort of silverware is going to have to be brought home. A lot of money's been spent. I know Jurgen Klopp hasn't spent any of it yet, but at the moment he looks more preoccupied with pleasing the fans and getting the fans on side than actually focusing on his team. I mean, last week at Stamford Bridge he got involved in an altercation with a Chelsea fan, and this week he was high-fiving Liverpool fans, and when Coutinho equalised. I'm not saying there's a major problem with that, but it's not good to see a manager at a top club being preoccupied by fans. I mean, he should have one focus, and that is the team. There's no problem really celebrating a goal and really getting involved, but surely he needs to be focused more on a team. It's something you'd see from a League 1, League 2 manager. It's a small thing, but it makes a big statement in my opinion. And Jurgen Klopp needs to realise that he doesn't need to appeal to the fan. He doesn't need to go out of his way to win over the Liverpool fans. He's already a cult icon at Liverpool, and as soon as his appointment was announced, the fans were won over. I don't think there was a single Liverpool fan that doubted the appointment. No, so he needs to settle down, focus on rectifying the problems that are there. The unfortunate thing for him is going from Dortmund to Liverpool. It's like going from a construction worker working with the most powerful and most state-of-the-art tools to being a caveman working with rocks and sticks. I mean, that's the difference between the two squads at the moment. There's very few shining lights in that Liverpool team. Felipe Coutinho stands out, obviously. Roberto Firmino has shown signs of promise. Jordan Ibe in recent weeks has shown glimpses of serious potential, but after that there's not a whole lot that screams quality out of that Liverpool team, and they've probably lost their best defender, Mamadou Sakho, for the next 8 to 10 weeks with a knee injury. So there's definitely work to be done. Can they make Champions League? Absolutely. With Chelsea's flaws this season, I don't think Chelsea will make Champions League at this stage, so there's definitely a space open there for Liverpool if they play their cards right and get down to it. And I think the January transfer is definitely going to be key for Liverpool and who Jurgen Klopp buys. Chelsea's flaws will also open the door for another Champions League hopeful, and that is Tottenham, who played Arsenal on Sunday in the North London derby, finished 1-1 at the Emirates, and it was probably Spurs' performance of the season. They've been playing out of their skin in recent weeks. That was their third game in 6 days, and they really did themselves proud, did their managers proud. And when Maurizio Pochettino was appointed as Tottenham manager last season, I earmarked it as a very, very good appointment. And it was a bit of a slow season last year, but there's definitely signs of improvement this year. It's a young team. They've got a very good centre-back pairing in Toby Alderweireld and Jan Vertonghen. They've got a very promising midfielder in Dele Alli, and they've got a very good striker in Harry Kane. And if Harry Kane hits the heights of last season, there's no doubt in my mind that Spurs will get Champions League football. It's about getting him scoring consistently again. The last few weeks have proved promising. There's no coincidence that his form has resulted in an upsurge in Tottenham's form, because when he plays well, Spurs play well. And there's definitely a chance of Spurs getting Champions League football this season. As for Arsenal, it was the same old Arsenal on Sunday. A game that they would have been expected to win, going on recent form in the Premier League, but then they never really showed up, and the game probably fell in their defence. It probably came at an awkward time following the 5-1 hammer at Bayern Munich midweek. But there's still no excuse for a team at that level with so many international stars. I thought that Arsenal team should have been beating the Tottenham quite easily on Sunday. They've got a lot. I think they got nervous. They got drawn up, caught up in the occasion as usual, and it's proof again that the only team that will stop Arsenal winning the Premier League title this season is Arsenal. They are their own worst enemies at times, and I don't think it's a case anymore of they lack certain players to win the title. They have everything they need to win the title. There's no doubt about that in their ranks. It's just about whether they want it enough. And when the going gets tough, Arsenal don't have very much characters in their team, if they've any, that can help turn things around. And that was evident midweek. They were 3-0 down at half time at Bayern Munich. And at the weekend there was a few players that just didn't really want to know about it. And that's a big problem. And I don't know where that stems from. It could stem from the arrogance of the manager at times. But that's Arsenal's biggest flaw. And I think that's the biggest thing standing in the way of them winning a Premier League title for the first time in 13 odd years. So yeah, but like I said, a great result for Tottenham, and they'll move on to the next game with a lot of confidence, and it'll take a lot of confidence into the international break, the dreaded international break, But that's a debate for another day. Finally, we'll finish on Manchester City and Aston Villa. Aston Villa haven't picked up a point since the opening day of the season, and things are really looking bad in Birmingham. I mean, there's not a lot of positive in that squad at all. There's not a lot of creative players. There's not a lot of defensive solidity. Remy Gar has a lot of work on his hands to keep that team up. They're 12 games in, they're 5 points on the table. They're going into wins. It's the only thing that's going to save them, and I can't see them getting enough to stay in the Premier League. They've flirted with danger for the past couple of seasons and they've survived. I think they've just bitten off a bit more than they can chew this year. Man City will definitely feel they've missed the trick at the weekend. I think they've had a bit of luck on their side that Tim Sherwood didn't have in his last few games. Villa did play some nice football at times, but putting the ball in the back of the net will be their biggest problem. And City could have had 2 or 3 at the weekend. It just wasn't them. It was just one of them days for Manchester City. It's definitely 2 points drop for them. There's no way you could look at that as a good point for City. But still, at the moment, title favourites for me. They've got so much firepower in their ranks, and they're top of the table now, despite having not had David Silva and Sergio Aguero in their squad for the last 4 weeks or so. If they get them back firing again, I think it is City's title to lose. But as it stands, I think the bottom 3, as it stands, is Bournemouth, Sunderland and Villa. I think those are the 3 that will go down. Bournemouth have been very unlucky with injuries, and they lost 2 of their key men in Max Gradle and Callum Wilson to anterior cruciate ligament injury. So we'll finish on that, and I want to apologise. This video is going to run about 18 minutes long, which will be longer than what I will traditionally do the videos in the future. Like I said, I want to keep it about 12-14 minutes long, but this is going to be a bit longer. It's the first video. So yeah, I want to thank everyone for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. If you're watching on Facebook, please hit the like button, please hit the share, like the page Mr. Controversial, and follow us on Twitter. The address will be in the description down below this video on YouTube. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and of course, any opinions you have, please let me know. Leave them down below on Facebook. Leave a comment on YouTube, wherever you're watching this. Just let me know what you think, and we'll read out your opinions next week on the show. So thanks very much for watching, guys.